going to begin we're going to begin by invoking Ganesh, the deity of astrology. And today is Guru Purnima. So we're also honoring our gurus today. And so I will start off with a mantra to my guru and gurus. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. All right, so let's get into it. I am Reivin Alexandria of Swamp Seer, and I'm joining forces with my co-host Daya Dhara Didi of La Casa de Luz. You want to say anything, Daya?
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us in this new live summer forecast. Like Raven has been saying, we're really excited just to dive into all the energies that are playing a part in our lives and the collective and just how to navigate this all because I don't know about y'all, but as a sensitive being, I feel it. So I'm really excited just to hear the channelings that come through in this. And before we also get started, hopefully you guys have noticed, but Prophecy has become Coven, and we have a Patreon. So please do follow us on Patreon. There should be a link to join for free, but if you would like to support us, this helps us to continue this work that me and Raven have been doing for over 5 years now. And we have big ideas, we have big goals for this project amongst us. So if you would like to join our coven, get weekly updates from us, oracle updates, as we continue, we're just going to start like really giving more to the community in the way that we can together. So we would love for you to join us on Prophecy Coven on Patreon. You can also follow us on Instagram and YouTube. So thank you guys so much for being here. And Raven, let's just jump in a little overview of everything that's been going on this year. We're halfway through.
Oh, wow. And you know what? It's flying by. And it's because we are in a Mars year. And the reason why it's a Mars year is because in Vedic numerology, the planet Mars is connected to the number 9. And if you add up the numbers in 2025, that equals 9. And that is also aligned with the Hermit card. So we talked about it in our last live stream, how we have this sort of sacred warrior monk energy that we have to tap into right now, and that lives within us. And it reminds me of the Bhagavad Gita's like main concept of karma yoga, and how Arjuna is like, I don't want to fight, I don't want to have to fight, like these are my people, it's like on the battlefield, but some of them needed to be put in their place. And I feel like we're in that same situation here in America, where we're all one country, we're all the children of this colonial project in a way. And some of us are starting to act up, and it's not good, And so I think we're going through a similar thing where we have to step into that sacred warrior energy. That's why we had the Pope shift that happened. And then Pope Chilla, just, with Saturn and Pisces coming up with all the planets that were happening in Pisces and Virgo axis right around spring, sort of letting go and surrendering to a new way of doing things, and surrendering to new concepts, new definitions of what it means to be a warrior, what it means to do karma yoga, and to be spiritual while acting in accordance with your dharma and your purpose, but not in a selfish way or spiritual bypassing way. And that's because we're in the wood snake year, letting go of these false identities, these false snake oil salesman energies and vibes, and also using our discernment to understand ourselves spiritually as the hermit with the lamp of knowledge and the snake of knowledge on the tree of knowledge, and lighting the way for ourselves within and applying that in the external world. with Rahu Ketu switching over to Aquarius and Leo. So that's definitely bringing up this transformative energy going from the Pisces and the Virgo axis into that, especially with Jupiter and Ardra representing pushing the edge of our communication and how we interact with one another. So that's just my my take on the overall energy so far, and how we're going to step into that with Mars and Ketu in Leo, firing us up, getting us excited to make this change and to really take up this this cross that we all have to carry in this country right now.
Yeah, and just in the world, I think everyone is being affected by this all over the world, right?
Yeah.
It kind of, what I've always noticed, and we can see it now with like Western colonialism, it starts in the US. It's like it starts here and it just leaks through, and it just, especially because we literally think it's our duty to go and, fix other countries and other government systems and things like that. I just pulled a card really quick just to like, if we could look at the last 6 months and see what is going on. And it's funny because this one has come out before for me earlier. So it's King of Swords, and even the Queen of Swords is on the bottom of the deck. And so when you're talking about like the spiritual warrior monk kind of energy, and that is Mars. Mars is the god of war. And so if we're in a year that is ruled by Mars, and now he's conjunct with Ketu in Leo. Ketu is that south node that's connected to our past lives. And so we think about America's past life, what to say of our past lives, but let's just say like on a collective scale, like the past of this country is what we're seeing happening here, right? Like super evil, slavery, greed to the next level. So when I see the King of Swords, I'm like, okay, in my own life, I'm seeing myself even cutting ties with me feeling dependent on bigger structures and really focusing on what's in front of me, what's like the local community, what am I actually contributing to bring peace amidst the chaos. And I know like with clients of mine, and what I've been feeling a lot is like, because there's so much, what it feels like so much chaos around us, we have to really focus on our center, understanding what our center is, and like literally cut, like we have to all have machetes, right? Like the knowledge, even like today is Guru Purnima, which we'll talk about a little bit, and tomorrow with the full moon. But it's like Guru is heavy. The teacher is heavy. The teachings are heavy, so we can literally cut through what is no longer needed in our consciousness, in our society, in our lives. So just seeing these Queen and this King of Swords playing out right now, it's like on both fronts, masculine and feminine, we have to kind of, I've been thinking about this, like trim the fat and really find what is the truth at this moment with everything going on, and Jupiter and Gemini and all these things. So yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Just right quick, I want to confirm that Uranus, one of the outer planets, is actually in Kritika, which is the energy of cutting that is straddling Aries and Taurus. I have Jupiter in Kritika. Ironic. Jai Guru Dev, Jai. Like, he's in Taurus right now, and that's where Jupiter was last year. And so we're actually getting a taste of what it means to, like you said, trim the fat, till the soil of those parasites and those things that we want to bury underground, and whatever we put in the dirt is going to nourish the rest of what grows from that, the fertility and what happens from that. So Uranus is definitely getting us to take that out, to cleanse. And then I pulled the dissolution card. Very we went through a form of dissolution, and we're kind of being like, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie Willy Wonka or whatever. It's like the first one, and they're all like digitalizing, and it's like going in between, like the idea of like how a TV like sends waves across. That's what Gemini represents, like different Aquarius and Libra, and the air signs are lit this year. We can talk about it a little bit more. But it's dissolution as well. And so to me, it's like that airy water energy where it seems like we're on a projection based off of all of our past karmas. But remember, we just went through like the hugest shift, and we're in a feng shui 9 year. The number 9 represents endings. And then so there is a radical new beginning that is happening, and it's going to come in with a bang. We all know this as we look forward towards 20, or maybe not look forward towards 2030. And so I feel like things are dissolving. And so we can kind of like be on this luminous gate, and we're at the nexus. The number 9 represents nexus. So we're at the nexus of the luminous gate of eternity with Pisces and Aquarius energy showing us where to go. And so we have several energies that want to bring us down, to go down into the lower realms, and several energies that want to bring us up. And we're at the nexus of that. So I think that's what this synchronicity card is coming up for, to remind us to synchronize and use our knowledge and systems to level up.
Yeah, so let's talk about today, right? Today, it is a big day. We are talking about Guru Purnima. So this is the day where all gurus, all teachers are being honored throughout all the world, India. And I was listening to something that's like, not just the gurus that have taught you, not the teachers, not just the teachers who have taught you, but all teachers and all timelines who have brought these beautiful sacred understandings. And so today, tomorrow, July 10th, peaking around midday, we have this energy of guru. So Jupiter, like we mentioned, has been going through a Kazemi. It was right next to the sun. When the sun is really close to a planet, it doesn't act the way it should. And of course, everyone here knows we're following Vedic astrology. So in Vedic, in Western tropical astrology, they say that this Kazemi happened in Cancer, which is a whole different type of energy than actually Jupiter in Gemini. And I have Jupiter in Adra, where it is right now. So, it's been an interesting little ride for me in my Jupiter return. But yeah, so Sun is now leaving. It's kind of like the conjunction between Jupiter and the Sun just occurred. So now it's like the Sun is kind of leaving and going into the fourth house, which would be Cancer. And so on the 15th, which is very soon, actually before that, we can talk about something, will be the official Cancer season. And so I'm really excited for that because it will give us more of what I've been noticing is because there's so much fire, and now we have the floods, right? Like we have so much fire happening, but then on top of it, the earth is like literally shifting with water. And we can talk a lot about water stuff, but I feel with Cancer, when the sun goes into Cancer on the 15th, we're really gonna feel a sense of what is the priorities we have at home. And this is why it's so silly for the United States to really be so like our to have so much ties to this to the international world when there's so much issues happening in home. And I feel like this is going to be a big wake up call for a lot of us, like what is happening in our home and how do we shift that? But before even the sun goes into Gemini, into Cancer, is going retrograde. So Saturn is going retrograde in just a few days. Raven, what do you feel with that?
Hey, yeah, let's back it up. Let's talk about where Saturn's been, how he's been traversing so far. Remember, for the longest, we had Saturn in Aquarius, and that's why we can see with the technology boom and like also the shift in workers' consciousness and class consciousness and elections and mass movements and populism, like such a huge shift over the past couple of years, and also understanding our relationship with other galaxies and other forms of life, and also the intricacies of life on Earth and a rise in spirituality, even more so. So in questions of democracy and immigration and what it means to belong, that, where you grew up or where you came from or where you belong on the planet in general. So we can see that now that Saturn's moved in to Pisces, once he did that back in the springtime, that was a tumultuous time, but also we were kind of in this like limbo state with Trump had just now getting in the presidency, and not really, seeing all the devastating things that he was doing. But at the same time, for me, I paid close attention to that. It didn't seem like things started to kind of like start to bite him in the butt until around the time Saturn started to go into Pisces. So representing like this ending of tyranny in a way, or challenging tyranny with Saturn, the planet of workers' rights and citizen consciousness and human consciousness, in Aquarius, talking about humanitarianism, us starting to rise up and protests starting to occur more and people starting to fight back. And we can see that Saturn's grounding us in a sense of spiritual dedication, to having boots on the ground and also educating one another. And I feel like it's hard to escape for most people now. And I feel like it's because of Saturn in Pisces, because he's making huge waves in Pisces, bringing up the what's at the bottom of the ocean in all of us as humans, and showing the feces floating to the top. And I feel like that's what, the fascists are. And it's like, we're going to come and just skim it out with our net, because it is full moon in Purvashada. It is full moon in Purvashada, which is giving us the ability and the knowledge to integrate spirituality with practicality, which is one of the main ideas of karma yoga, like I was saying earlier. And so once Saturn goes retrograde in Pisces, it's going to be a time for us to look back and reassess, reflect, remind ourselves, reorganize, reset, rest, not fight or resist against the inevitable time to pause and reflect. Not to resist that, but, to self-analyze and to understand what we need to let go emotionally. Because like you said, we're going to be tested on emotional fronts here in the home, literally, and also on planet Earth, our home, but also in our homes, literally, and also in our mind. So it's important to understand what to let go, what fears to release, and to build a boat, with our knowledge, with our hearts, with our camaraderie, and expect slowdowns. Saturn's telling us to slow down when he goes retrograde. Don't fight that current, flow with the current, and create a solid foundation for yourself so that you can sustain in the future, because the future is up in the air right now with Jupiter, when Jupiter is in Ardua right now in a storm, causing massive storms, metaphorical and literal.
Yeah, just to reiterate, so Saturn is going retrograde July 13th, so just in a few days, but basically July 11th, 12th, even today, maybe we should just go a little slower. Until like maybe July 15th. This is not really the time to create or make a new project, because when a planet like Saturn goes retrograde, since it's not like Mercury where it's like super quick, the beginning of it and the end of it is more important than the middle of it. So if you're planning on like a launch right now, I would say plan it after the 16th. And then, November, plan it before the 28th, like maybe like by the 22nd or something. So I got reflection number 4 for Beautiful. Saturn. Yeah, and it's from Ganesha. And then also energetic movement. Right now, particularly, we both have Saturn. Me and Raven, we both have Saturn in the position the moon is right now, Purvashada, but we have it opposite. That's why I think we get along so well, because our charts are literally opposite of each other. And I have been burnt out since yesterday. I've had really, really intense dreams. I've had
and I've been cracked out, high on energy, like literally like sleeping 4 hours, waking up.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
That's the thing with Raven, we're like different, but I do see that energetic movement is here. So although Saturn is telling us to slow down, and I think he's saying like when Saturn goes retrograde, we should just all slow down on our projects, because it means to tie up loose ends. It means if you have something open right now, to finish it. Don't start something new. Finish what you have going on right now. But that doesn't mean to like be lazy in a sense where it's like you're not moving. So I feel like even to this morning, I had to go for a walk, because I was like, okay, my physical body feels so tired and exhausted, but I know I need to move this a little bit. So I went on a walk, and I think that the reflection and the energetic movement here is not necessarily like we're gonna go and start a business this week, but it means that we're going to move the body, we're going to move the energy within us, so that when Saturn goes retrograde fully July 13th, and then a couple of days later, we can kind of take a breath and go, oh, okay, now I understand what Saturn wants from me right now. I can, finish this project. I can, and then what you're going to be doing for the next, like, till November. So yeah, that's a really big thing. I want to just like push that we're reflecting and we're making movement, but movement towards things that we've already been trying to do, not something new per se. At least not this first 2 weeks.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I just pulled a couple cards to confirm that. Beneath the surface, we're pulling from the water energy, channeling through Swamp Seer, using the water to heal us. Beneath the surface, what's really driving you? True motives, breaking free. Very Pisces energy, especially once Mercury goes retrograde, and then once the sun goes into Cancer. Mercury's going to be going retrograde in Cancer as well, while Saturn's going retrograde in Pisces. So there's a lot of water energy to assess and to heal from, especially once we had all those planets doing the stellium in Pisces back in the around the eclipse time. Some of us are still reeling and spinning out in the arms of hurricanes and whirlpools from that. So we're still needing to integrate. And so pay attention to what's beneath the surface. Like you said, there's motion and energetic movement, but find your true motivations. You have until November 28th, or sorry, is it November 17th or November 28th?
I have November 28th.
Yeah, it's until November 28th. You have like your Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So, take your time, There's going to be certain things that naturally want to move fast because you want to create space in your life while you're decluttering, clearing, refocusing on what truly motivates you, reflecting, like you were saying, so that you can heal your mind right now. A lot of people are feeling burnt out, frazzled, angry, frustrated, afraid, scared, and we all have a right to feel that way with how everything is going on right now. So healing yourself, really finding that inner spiritual warrior who's not just about the fire, but who's also calm and control their air and is in touch with their emotional intelligence, which is a true warrior. And so, so we have a lot of focusing on internal structures and getting rid of what no longer serves us. So we have the sap of the moon plant here, and the moon is the mind. And so, especially once Saturn is retrograde in Pisces, while you have this Cancer energy stirring right now, feed your mind, learn something spiritual, learn about yourself, heal yourself, dream, focus on dreaming. That's going to be really coming through. It's going to help you understand your true motivations. And then lastly, I got the World card, which is so good. That represents Saturn's celebration. Don't forget, in order to win a war, spiritual, physical, literal, like you have to still embrace joy and celebration, and to be able to nourish yourself when you can. And we see that in so many different instances, whenever we as a people are going through battles in our lives. And that's what that's talking about. And then we have the dwarves and gnomes card. So we definitely got some Saturn energy here coming up, being like, you know what, stay strong. This, just like I said, we're on that luminous gate. We're facing off with the Asuras, we're the Devas, and we're like, hey, bruh, we're on this little Super Brothers melee platform here. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can push them off, and they might push themselves off. So let's keep going.
I want to just mention before because maybe we'll take like a couple more minutes just to explain what's going on this month. But right now, exactly at this time that we're recording this, Venus is exalted in Taurus. So one of the this is so big because all of these other planets are kind of like kicking her ass a little bit, excuse my language, but they are. Where Venus is.
Can I curse?
Yeah. I don't know. But I didn't put this is made for children, so on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
But
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think so. Maybe not.
I was about to.
So because Venus is exalted in Taurus, this is like but the thing is, Venus is also a god of war. I was just reading this too. It's like, because it's
Guru of the Asuras.
Yeah, exactly. They're the guru. So, but it's still a guru. Venus has a lot to teach us right now. And when we can tap into what Venus wants from us, so that is going to be our arts, our creativity, pleasure, the right to like stand up for yourself, I feel like too, is Venus, because sometimes Venus in Western ideology, it's a feminine card. It's Aphrodite, it's all this, but actually it's Shukra. It's like this more, it is like a warrior still. Venus is still a warrior. So because it's exalted right now until the 26th, that's when it goes into Gemini, into Gemini. If everything is going like a little frazzled with Saturn going retrograde, Mercury goes retrograde July 18th, like pour into that creativity, pour into that self-love, that self-care, the self-pleasure.
Quality too.
Yeah, exactly. The sensuality. Yeah, all that stuff, because that's what's going to help us like transmute the heavier energies with that Venus exalted at this time.
Especially once it's, going from the earth to the air. Smoke cleansings and using herbs to cleanse yourself with smoke is really important. And I say that because I got the smoke card. Think about it. K2 is with Mars. So we got this water energy going on, and then the hot fire for a little bit, and then the Venus. Oh my God. Like, really what's cool funny stuff can happen with that energy.
Just sorry to interrupt, Raven, but what's crazy is I pulled my Oracle card of the month. I haven't done it. I'm telling you, I'm so tired all day today. I'm just like pushing through, just trying to get to this call. I was like, it's okay, I'll make it. But I pulled a alchemical card for my Oracle card, and I got smoke. So I have smoke here. This is the energy of the month for my community. So,
That smoke.
and you pulled disillusionment beforehand, and it's like the smoke is that. So, how do we combat the illusion of smoke, right? Because it makes it foggy, it twists, it turns, it does all these different things. Smoke
Love it.
is with the resins, is with the incense. And to me, that's my favorite cleanse. Like as a
Yeah.
curandera, Tina, you're here as a curandera too. Like the smoke cleanses is Dumavati also. If we go back to the Vedic, the smoke Devi. And so there's something about smoke because there we are in this smoky, foggy time to utilize smoke as a ritual to see through that too and to clear it out. Um, yeah, so there's
Yeah,
something
especially with Venus
powerful.
and Rohini. That's where Venus is right now. And
Mm.
then also wanted to talk about Saturn. Wanted to say right quick is in Uttara. What is it? Saturn is in Uttara Bhadrapada, and Venus is in Rohini. So we got to keep track of the nakshatras there. So look at that snake energy Saturn's bringing. A lot of snake energy coming up with, especially with Ashlesha energy coming up in Cancer, being triggered. And then we have this Rohini, like this growth. You know, you can transform and grow right now.
So just like to like wrap up Cancer July energy, I pulled the portal card and it says doors are opening, you decide, rewards, and wild card. And I know that we said like slow down, right? Like Saturn wants us to slow down, but that doesn't mean that doors aren't going to be opening up for us, you know? Like it's natural that all of us, especially depending on where Saturn is, and when Saturn goes retrograde, it's looking at the house next to it. So the house it just passed. So it's right now in the 12th house in Pisces and it's glaring and looking at Aquarius. And so actually Aquarius is about the office, it's about work, it's about all these things. So Saturn actually will bless a lot of us with opportunities during this time. And so I think that this is saying like although things are going to be smoky, that's why it's so important to find your center and to see through the illusions. And once you see through the illusions, you're going to find that there are going to be a lot of opportunities that are coming your way, that are coming to you because you've stepped into your dharma, because you are aligned to the moment and you're seeing through, Maya and the things
No, for sure. And
that
I
don't
think
matter.
the smoke is used in the ritual of magic as well. When it's like the smoke clears, the fog clears, and what's there is like poof, right? It's like what you manifest with your powers. Sun in Cancer is about the heart. It's important to remember as Venus is exalted in Taurus, love is really important as a theme right now, and focusing on growing love in your life, and because there's so much volatility. And I think there's really something transformative there that just nourishing your heart chakra too is going to be really big
I mean,
things to
and I can
get rid of
attest to
knots.
this. There's a lot
Get
of
rid of
love
knots.
coming through.
Yes, lots
So
of love and romance and playfulness.
yeah, and we mentioned a little bit, and this is going to start bleeding into August energies, but the Ketu and Mars, they've been together, and also we haven't really talked a little bit. I'll just mention a little bit the Kal Sarpa that's happening. So that is kind of highlighting more illusion, more confusion, more these kind of feelings of it's like a little bit like a feeling like we're stuck. But this is all changing on the 21st, and it's gonna really change once Mars leaves Ketu in Leo. So that's a big thing happening right now. We mentioned it already, but like once Mars leaves Ketu in Leo and enters into Virgo on the 28th, we're gonna find the energy will shift greatly in regards to what we've been feeling with that conjunction together. But right
Yeah.
before, I believe it is the 21st. I don't know if I wrote it down, but that's the exact conjunction. So being very mindful of like that Ketu and Mars energy right now. When I tapped into that energy, I really felt a pull to slow down. I guess everything is like slow your ass down. I keep on saying ass. Sorry, YouTube, if that's not allowed.
Well, I
But
just pulled. I do want to touch on Mercury going retrograde in Cancer with the Sun being there, and because we have the Mercury card popping up, he wants to come and say hello, and I think that's also important because Mercury rules Virgo, and we had K2 in Virgo for so long, and now he's not there anymore, so there's a little less pressure. there's definitely a different theme, like you said, for like the Rahu Ketu Kalasarpa. There's going to be a different theme now that he's in Leo than what we've been experiencing. So get ready for that, even as we approach the eclipses. The first eclipse is in Aquarius and Leo. So with Mercury right now, it's important to be intelligent with your time and your communication, and what you do with your intellect, and what you develop in your life, how you heal. Because I got sorry, yeah, this is a deity of healing, or Nila. And then we have Ashleisha for Mercury. I pulled this for Mercury specifically because that's where he is right now. So a lot of twisting and turning with the Kalasarpa, and maybe things not being what they seem, internal and external. So developing like a spiritual practice more consistently is going to benefit you for sure right now. And in the healing spiritual practice, getting back to your roots, kind of letting go some of like the petty drama that we circulate online and social media clicks and TikToks and all these different things, and going for more deeper, less surface level things, because a lot, it's in the news a lot about how technology right now, it does affect us mentally and emotionally. So it's not just artificial intelligence, it's actually the constant deluge of opinions. Opinions are like a-holes, everybody's got one, right? And that's what Jupiter is letting us know right now while he's in Ardra. It's like superficiality is not is going to be gone, it's going to be stripped from us, because we're getting more deep as we get closer with technology, as it evolves, and it's forcing us to get deeper within ourselves and come together and ask big questions and challenges. But we also have to start to imagine the world that we want to see, and not just imagine it, but simultaneously execute it, and in ways that we've never done before. And so I think that's what Mercury wants us to also grasp with Ashleisha, that we can empower ourselves through changing our approach to knowledge. And Jupiter is going to remind us of that too. And like I was saying earlier, you want to leave space in your life right now. And I agree with you, Daya. You want to leave space in your life right now to heal, but also to let in, to receive, and focus more on serving others versus just the ego. Because K2 is in Leo right now, and it really makes us want to shed this false ego and only focusing on the superficial outward things. We need to help others. We need to help the world, like, in a serious way. It's calling to us, but you can't do that unless you help yourself. And so I think that's where the self-care comes in for sure.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, like in the Cancer energy, which is Sun stays into Cancer all the way to when it moves into Leo. Oh, 8/16. 8/16. Sorry, I think I wrote Cancer season here. On the 16th. So 15th to the 16th, usually that's what the sun's energy is. And we have the weight of the world coming out. And you mentioned let go, so that's why I wanted to read this. It says boundaries, let go, it's not yours to carry. And then I also got the Ace of Cups. And so to me, it's like, okay, we have to, because even in the summer, because Pitta is really high, we have to hydrate more. We have to spend more time with water. We have to spend more time drinking water. Yeah. Hydrating.
Sponsored by water.
Yeah. Yes. Sponsored by water. Exactly. And then it's like Ace of Cups. It's like when you're drinking water, make it a ritual. When you are in your bath, when you're taking a shower, like every single moment with water is super important. We don't realize, especially in the States, we don't realize how, I mean, some parts in the States you understand the severity it is to just have clean water. Like it's such a blessing to have clean water. And so make sure that you are honoring water right now because it is really big, especially as the heat goes on and Cancer season begins and continues throughout August.
And lastly, I have bounteous, generously given, relationships coming together. Yeah, just reflecting what we've been saying, like coming together and treating each other like that precious water that we have on this planet, that we're all precious with one another, I think. Helping and
Yeah.
healing, nourishing one another. All right, let's keep
Mm.
going because we are in July. We need to move on.
Yeah, so
We're gonna have to
August,
do like it's quick. Like we can go deep on a month, man. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we can go deep on a month. So it's like is spirit calling us? I'm like over here. I'm like, man, we can do this. I'm like, we over here talking about the whole summer, but
well, I mean, I think, well, what happens is that July sets up the summer. So
yes, yes.
we have Saturn retrograde all throughout the summer. We end up having the full moon. And actually, I don't think we mentioned this, but the
New
We
moon.
have the new moon. We have a new moon in Cancer on the
Cancer.
24th.
Yeah. Lots of
So that's
cancers.
the only thing that we didn't share. And so the next full moon will be the 9th, so a month from now, and that's going to be in Capricorn, Shravana, which is all about hearing and listening. So I think it's also just showing like when July finishes, we all are going to have strong epiphanies on like how to move forward in the
Hmm.
next few months. And so then it's like we're going to be listening, because then it's like things are going to start going more internal, I feel, even as a collective, because now Sun is going to be going into Leo, right? And it is about the it wants to be like that egotistical kind of energy, but I don't feel like Ketu is gonna allow that, right? Like Ketu is gonna be like, yeah, like, well, what's the true ego when Sun is in Leo? Because he's gonna meet Ketu, that past life energy. So by August time, I really think it's still gonna be a very reflective month for us, as we have that Shravan full moon, and then we're coming out of, July. That is really going to be a shakeup. That's a wake up. Not that we've not haven't awakened yet, but because the Saturn retrograde happens, it is like a wake up call.
Yeah, and what's so beautiful about Leo right now with Ketu being there is that Ketu is in the nakshatra of Purva Falguni, and Purva Falguni is ruled by Venus. And actually, we were talking about this before. And so, in honor of Guru Purnima and the idea of Guru and how Venus is one of the gurus along with Jupiter, we have, and by the way, Jupiter is giving an aspect of Libra right now, also ruled by Venus. So, there is a lot of like hope and sort of that can be tapped into throughout this period. And we can see that, when we do a little effort, actually a lot of good things happen, but it's the effort that needs to happen, is right. And that's kind of what the war wants us to stop doing. And Venus represents effort in a lot of ways. Someone with a good Venus is very ambitious, and Venus is the guru of Rahu and Ketu. So now that we're talking about Rahu and Ketu, we have Ketu in a nakshatra in Leo. Leo's ruled by the sun. This nakshatra is ruled by Venus, and so K2 is going to get to be with Venus in now with that energy, learning from the guru. They get along because that's their guru, right? So our K2 energy is going to become stronger, and we're going to become more sensitive and more ethereal and more connected to our spiritual destinies, so that we can actually overcome the evil that I don't think we've quite gotten a handle on it, through how we organize and how we merge all of our different movements across different cultures and disciplines. And so, that's happening now. People like us are doing that now, and they want to stop that. That's why why does fascism clap down on all forms of spirituality and appropriate it for its own mythological aims, and use cultures to create these fascist ideologies, and like the Dark Enlightenment, and like and how the Hindu symbol of the swastika has been distorted and perverted. So unless we take up the mantle and we protect our spirituality and our symbols and our cultures and our traditions, instead of only being in this gatekeeping scenario with it while we're fighting each other, boxing over here trying to protect, we're actually sort of giving it away. We're giving it away to fascism as they take away our rights and our freedoms to have creativity and spirituality. That's what's happening. And so I definitely see that we need to shift, especially since we went through the period where Rahu was with Venus in Pisces, connecting with the guru once again. Rahu and Ketu, the demons, connecting with their guru Asura, their guru of the Asura is Venus, showing us how we need to transform as radicals and as ethical human beings, and not just being stuck in the black white plurality of extremes. We got to change. We literally have to change somehow. And so I think that's why this card, the Benevolent Guide, is coming up. And it might be natural. I was talking about we got to bear the cross earlier, but then you pulled that card. Like, no, we can't. We don't have to hold the world in our hands. And I think that's in our back. I think that's really deep, because I feel this a lot of times. And some people might call me a hopeless romantic optimist, but I feel like the planets are doing the heavy lifting for us right now. And I feel like you just need more people tapped in. Things shift, consciousness shift, with morphic resonant fields, things shift. And, you got a few people doing something catches on, and then a whole movement sparks, and you never know. Us lightning strikes those who must be damned. That could happen. Imagine.
Well, I think when you realize, if we go on a political rant right now, like, and people go, well, people voted for this. Well, let's break down the facts. 70% of eligible people are even voted, like are even registered to vote. About 60% of those people voted. So now we have 40% of people who have not voted at all, right? And or in that case it was like 10% of that, but then you also have like people who just didn't register to vote. So in all reality, the numbers that voted for this are not are not majority still. Even if it's 50% of the people who voted at this election, you still have so many people who didn't vote, voted the other way, or are not eligible to vote because they make it harder. So in all reality, the majority
Gerrymandering.
is like so the majority is still here. We're still here. And I think it's interesting. We're talking about like going within ourselves because that Leo energy in August is gonna make it feel like we're on fire even more because that's what they want us to feel. But I got the number 37, and this says the mirror, other lives, past lives, and dimensional lives. This reminds me of like the fact that, okay, we are healing so many lives for ourselves. And we are also, reaping the karma of all the lives before us on this land and all the lives that are being taken by our tax money, even if it's not like with our true consent. We are but it's really about within ourselves in the month of August because you do have the sun with Ketu. The sun is identity. It rules the third eye. Although a lot of people think the sun rules the solar plexus, it doesn't. It rules the third eye. And so the sun is our being able to see our identity. And therefore we have to look into the mirror. And I think a lot of people, and there already are, they're going to be seeing it. Everyone's going to be affected by all of this stuff that's happening. And the more that we stand idly by, or it takes longer in the court systems, or whatever it is that happens in the next few months, we all have to take responsibility for our own lives in the sense that, do we continue to consent to this? Or do we change radically? And that doesn't mean we go out and protest on the streets. It means we change the way we think. It means we change the way we deal with others and the way that we deal with our local community and the things we're consuming every day.
Yeah. Beautiful. Let's see. And once again, remember, like you said, like this whole year is ruled by Mars, and it's not just about what it's like we're being told to do. It's about what we do. And I think that with Mars being about action and how I said karma yoga, what you're doing every day is a direct reflection on what's to come. And what you do is a reflection of your mind, and your mind is a reflection of society, and society is a reflection of us and all the darkness and the light. So if we're able to connect with the stars and the planets and use proper communication and using our tools wisely, then I think that it is possible to make change. But I feel like a lot of people, I feel like it is going to kind of take like certain, I don't want to bring this on us, but humanities, we react to disasters at this point. We react to catastrophes because we've been kind of simultaneously overstimulated and desensitized as a society. And then with the progression of like technology and how information is spread, and now with technology and fears of like illusions grown with Neptune and Pisces and Pluto destroying the way things were. He's in Uttara Shada right now, so these are long-lasting changes. That's why I think it's so important to do the intellectual work and the emotional work, logic and intuition right now, because we're on frontiers that we've never been before. Like literally, like we represent people on like out of the history of the past 2,000 years, and so we're kind of like at this pivotal moment. And I think if we ground ourselves and we use this knowledge right, then we can actually make a big difference, and that's going to be highlighted as we see certain things come to light as the sun goes into Leo, as Venus further goes into Leo with K2, because Venus and K2 are good. So they're going to open up a lot of, I think, optimism is what I feel, especially as when Jupiter really goes into Cancer. Even though there's going to be travesties as well, we're going to see extremes. It's just, And it's kind of like you go, it's like you're getting out of like the pain right before you get rid of the chronic illness, like the pain that you have to go through right as the sun comes up. The worst is, what is the saying? The calm after the storm. Like, we are going to experience that as a collective. We are. It is, because that's where Jupiter is right now.
Yeah. No, it's completely. And I'm just going to throw out some dates here and, as we move towards that September energy, but we have the new moon or Venus goes into Cancer 8/20, August 20th. There is a new moon 8/23 in Leo as well. Mercury joins the party in Leo on the 30th, and of course Ketu's there. So we're actually going to have Sun and Mercury with Ketu in August, and then going into September. So again, there's big movements happening in August, and I think that my advice, based on what I'm seeing right now, is to really pour it within ourselves, work with the energy of water to combat that very fiery energy, and continue the reflections because Saturn is still retrograde at the time.
Yeah, and it's great because I definitely want to bring up that calm before the storm, because we know what's happening in September. Eclipse season. Eclipse season, and that's when stuff really gets to shake up again.
Yeah. Yeah, let's jump into it. So we have the first eclipse on the full
Yeah.
moon.
Let me bring up something right quick. This is really
Yeah, go ahead.
important. Ever since 2024, I can't remember the exact date or the exact month, maybe November, or I mean, a lot from 2024 to 2025, we've actually been having a really rare experience. Do you know what it is, Daya?
Since 2024, you said?
Yes, with the moon. What's been the rare experience?
Um, the axis has changed.
Oh, almost. Sorry, my little teacher coming out. I mean, it's like, but no, actually, yes, that is important because that connects with it. But the 29th degree has been activated on every full moon for a really long time. And in 2025, from the beginning of 2025 to the spring, we had the full moon happening on the 29th degree of the signs each time it happened. And so the full moons have been occurring in, we call this the anaretic degree, and it's the anaretic degree. It's a 29th degree, and often it's a part of the Gandanta degree as well, which the sun is going to be going through Gandanta, and the other planets are going to be going through Gandanta as we go through from Cancer to Leo. And it's all about finalization, and that's like a big major word this year. Mars is coming in with the Hermit energy to force us to see what we need to let go, because Hermit is ruled by Virgo, and Virgo is very, very precise and concise and organized and minimalist and condo vibes, right? Before she was like gave up on it. So it's that very Virgo guru energy. Like Mercury can, like I like how you always bring up like Mercury will take on the energy of whatever planet it's with. And so Mercury is in the moon sign right now. So there's the moon and Mercury don't always get along, but it's important to realize because moon is emotion and Mercury is intellect and communication, and intellectual and analysis versus inner reflection and emotions. We have to balance those things, especially with what we've been through with all these full moons, the height of the energy of the moon occurring on the 29th degree for so long. And so quickly, I just want to pull that. I have meditate and contemplate. So really tapping in, and I wanted to bring up earlier when we got the moon sat plant, when we were talking about Saturn and Pisces, meditation and contemplation and thinking, and like you said, Daya, taking your time is really going to help us get through this climax that we're about to go through. And it's going to be the type of climax where it's like stuff's happening and you're like, oh, there's a firework over there. There's a thing happening over there. Things popping off. You know what I'm saying? Things popping off. And it's like, boom, 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 boom.
Now, for people who feel like that's just always the case, that things are popping off and it feels like that already, Raven, I'm just gonna play a little like question here to you. What is the difference from what we're going to experience with these eclipses coming up in September with the moon and the new moon? Like, what do you see being like the biggest
like
differentiating?
Like battles, like stuff that I mean, now this year, like we've had like more like things blow up and fires and floods and like huge things like all occurring all at once, and then like but the thing is going to be it's going to be amplified by the media cycle and also doubt and panic. in ways that it's never been before. It's going to be in, I like what you're saying. The polarization is unique now, because whereas we've been sort of living with it, and we're sort of like on the precipice of like that major change of going from democracy to autocracy, where it's like, yeah, we're like people on the left, like we've always been a democracy or autocracy. Yeah, but has anyone ever entered your home and taken away your family member without a warrant? So that's completely different now. So we actually have to fight and stop that. And so that's what I'm saying is going to be popping off. I can't go into detail about that because we're on YouTube, but it's be aware of, like I've been saying if you follow my stories, Trump has Mars in the first house in Leo in his chart. And we can already see how violent he got as Mars and K2 start to come together. And so to me, I see the Emperor has no clothes, and I see that the Emperor is about to, get sat down. And
well, it's also like they pull.
Happening. There's something shifting that's going to be big.
Yeah, they always pull. They always say that any empire, they do the most when it's like their time is up, right? And although we're just 6 months in to this administration, we know that, I mean, to me, every single day that I watch the news, I said, how long will the people stand with this? This is really, really bad.
About to be over.
So, just to think about these, I'm just going to give you guys some dates for the full moon, and these, total lunar eclipse, September 7th, partial solar eclipse in Virgo, new moon on the 21st of September. And I think that it's just going to be an energy for us to just look out for. Any eclipses are going to heighten things. So September, is going to be a heightened month still. I know we're like 2025 is the heightened year. But I got Ace of Swords. And I just feel, when, again, a lot of swords energy. I've been getting swords like crazy in tarot. And I just feel that this is because we really need to clear our minds. And yesterday I was in a breathwork session, and I had this dream. It literally, I didn't tell you this, Raven, but I had this dream and it seeped into my day. Like, I literally felt stressed in the dream and disappointed. And I woke up, my eyes were swollen. I felt stressed and disappointed, like in my whole day. And then I did breath work, and I was able to see, I actually got like a little lightheaded and dizzy doing it in the session. But when I stopped doing it, I just saw this like cleansing of my mind. Literally, like my mind was just being cleansed by the oxygen and the carbon dioxide, because you're breathing in through your mouth. And I just felt like, I mentioned like, oh, I got lightheaded, and then my friend was like, well, yeah, you've been really cerebral lately, like with the things I've been going through on my end, on personal. Yeah. But I think it's not even that. I watch a lot of news with my family. I have other things going on. And I think that this is what, like, I always know that I look at the chart, I look at the transits within myself, because I'm an Aries rising. I feel like I can feel it the way that the whole collective feels it. And when I felt the cleansing of my mind through breath work, or like pranayama, or anything that's just going to bring more oxygen into the brain, it really helped me to like clear whatever I've been ingesting through all of these different types of media fronts. And I think right now it's so important, and especially as we get into September, to do your pranayama. Like, because remember, Saturn is retrograde this whole time. He rules air, and we mentioned air. And so it's like, and and now that I'm like putting it all together in my mind, like I've been getting all this sword energy, and it's like, because your mind is too active, you have to combat it too. What is it?
Air element.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to combat. So the mind being like this, it's ruled by Cancer. It's kind of this watery energy, but it still has this air element, this intellect, the logic.
Yeah.
And so we need to combat these ideas, this consciousness through the air that we're bringing into our brains. So oxygen treatments, pranayama, yoga, all of these things are really going to help just clear whatever is happening in the mind, so we can see clearly as we move into the fall.
Yeah, expect some water spouts, stuff with military operations in the ocean for the rest of the year, UFO stuff. We didn't get too deep into that. Maybe I'll go into some of that on Swamp Seer as I develop that. But also remember, we're going to be having the eclipses first eclipses. I'm actually so excited because I'm done with Virgo Pisces. We got the Aquarius. I'm in my Rahu K2 return in Aquarius and Leo, everybody. That means that Rahu and Ketu are traveling over where my natal planet Rahu and Ketu are in my grahas are in my chart. So I can definitely sense that what is coming is going to sort of like, I think just shift and bring a lot of things out to light. I mean, we can already see the threads, like especially I started talking about like the whole election interference, and then that has fully developed. I was calling it as I saw it. I was like, with these Gemini energies between Trump and Musk, there's going to be a falling out. Trump has people scheming behind his back, and it's actually like circulating big time right now that like one of the possibilities is that they're literally setting he's a dummy king, he's a puppet, he's a dummy king, like he's just a likable somehow that man is likable to people and like an actor, and they're just going to take him out when the prime is right. I keep getting this feeling if it does happen, it's an inside job. And, and so it's like, you have Musk starting his own party and you have Peter Thiel, like you have all these, and that's what the age of Aquarius is all about, like shifting from the Jupiter Pisces sort of religious, traditional government, control to this even more oligarchy, corporatocracy sort of structure integrated with tech and surveillance. And in the age of Aquarius, our new demon that we have to battle and fight, because tradition has changed and shifted and government structures are changing and shifting. So that's why we have to focus on power and reclaiming our power with the Leo energy that month. And as we go into those eclipses, card that I pulled was the air card. I think you're totally right. That's why I was getting like this water spout energy, tornadoes, fast movement, communications, like literally like somebody might cut the internet line, anything like that, like that's under the water. We already saw some issues with that, like nuclear weapons. I called that last time. I was talking about a nuclear winter by this time of the year. And so.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna throw some more dates out for the people, and then we can maybe wrap it up since we're at the hour. But when we are in September, we have Venus moving into Leo on the 14th of September. Mercury then moves into Virgo on the 15th, and then reminding you that Mercury becomes direct on August 11th. So in Cancer. And then we have the sun. So then the sun Virgo season officially starts September 16th. What we're going to see is, again, that Venus and Ketu in Leo playing out in September. And then there's this kind of, just want to mention a little bit, but with the Ketu with Venus, it really is, you wrote here, the truth, the light showing us, where when Venus was with Rahu, is more about the illusion and the past karmas, and we're trying to break free. And we both said that because Venus is exalted right now, Jupiter is where it's at, and then Venus is just going to move, through where Jupiter is at, kind of getting closer to that sun energy, then going into that Ketu energy. We just have to, it's like a conversation we mentioned, like with the guru, and today is Guru Purnima. So, as we, in your whole lives, I don't know, I'm just trying to like see where to take this, but in our whole lives, we need someone to shine the light through the darkness. And we are so, grateful for those who trust us in our communities to shine lights, like prophecy. Prophecy is a light. La Casa de is a lighthouse, Raven Swamp Seer. It's literally seeing through that murky water and bringing that light. And I feel that this summer, because the summer is always that fire energy, it's always like, wanting to move, like it's like summer, right? We all have this light that we want to shine, but then it can cause burnout. It can cause all different types of things when there's too much light, too much sun. It can dehydrate us. So we have to, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to nourish ourselves. We have to nourish our minds in the proper ways. We have to reflect. We have to move energetically. And yeah, I'm just getting this idea that there's illumination coming to the collective in a bigger way as we move through the summer. And the more that we, again, can drop what is not ours, even if we care about everything happening in the world, which I know a lot of us do, we cannot look away. We still can't carry it, right? And so we just have to find that balance between caring and having empathy, but also finding that we can only take so much and being able to rest through the summer. Because I think we think we want to keep on going, but Saturn retrograde, Mercury retrograde is happening. And so it really is like slow your butt down.
Slow your little roll there.
And tie up the loose ends. You know, don't get too caught up in too much of the future, but still plan accordingly.
Yeah, and then watch it all unfold because we know that K2 in Leo and all the planets in Leo once we get into August is going to highlight our leaders and the inner leader and us as leaders, not just the politicians that and all those things, but also we got major things shifting in New York. We cannot sit here and not talk about what's going on in New York with the new mayor, who's most likely going to become mayor, hopefully, fingers crossed, right? So just so many changes and so many possibilities. I think it is a time where people are going to turn to new political alternatives. So do the same thing in your life. Like change, find new things in your life that's going to help you get through this time and don't be afraid to take risks. But also take rest. Take risk and take rest. That's what it's talking about.
I love that. If you have any questions about what we're going or what we're saying right now, please do. You can put it in the chat. If you have something you want us to reiterate, hopefully you can share that. And it's funny because I'm just looked back at our
Oh,
anyway.
sorry, the question. So we get in like a little tizzy over there. Yes, tap into that lion energy. Yes, and it is uniquely intense. Like, yeah, for sure. I can feel it in my body. Love water. Yes.
Yeah,
Love those things.
definitely. So I looked on our YouTube and it looks like we are streaming, but not on that same link. I don't know what the heck happened. Well, we'll figure it out after this.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll just post it online after.
Yeah, I think it will be posted. It just will be a different link. Anyway, we'll figure it out. I'm
Um,
really grateful for this conversation. I felt like, again, today was a tiring day for me. So if you are feeling a little tired, a little burnt out, what I did was just literally take like a few naps. I drank a lot of water, electrolytes, coconut water. I had a lot of fruit. Um,
I
and
want.
I just feel like, that's summer for us. We just got to take care of of our physical bodies and, just good luck on your guys' projects, anything that you're working on. Raven, would you like to share what you're working on? How and then again, Prophecy Coven, join us. There should be a
Yes,
button.
Prophecy Coven.
Yeah, just please support our work or join us for free. And we would love to see you and have you a part of this as we continue our work. Yeah, go ahead, Raven.
Yeah, so just reach out to me on Instagram or email me at info@swampseer.com if you would like a reading. I do have an Etsy studio up right now, but I also just like take like personal if you reach out to me. And then also follow my Substack, Swamp Seer Log on some Substack. Going to be opening up the floodgates on that at a certain point. Right now, we just got on a drip just to kind of like let you in through the fog so that you can pierce through the fog of your mind and of this world and go deeper to your roots and get that nourishing, healing swamp water. So yeah, really excited for that. Other than that, like I literally like y'all might not see me as much posting about my life because I'm even with this Jupiter and Ardor, like I'm really coming to a lot of realizations about how I want to interact with technology and curbing my just I remember when Facebook and all this stuff first came out, it was like so exciting to share every little thing about your life. And I'm an air sign, so they just like create that stuff for people like me to just be like Twitter around and Twitter around on the internet. So I'm just like, you know what? I really want to like streamline and hone in and finish some of my projects, and use this time to research. Oh my God, I'm actually in different classes right now. I have like a lot of tech projects. So be on the lookout for my Substack posts. I might be transitioning to more of like a content schedule soon, over the summer. And as I'm transitioning to that, you will be feeling that more in the fall. So yeah, if you want to reach out to me, say, hey, you can do that too. Daya, what about you?
Love that. And if you want to put your link to your Substack in the
Yeah,
chat
I can put
so
that there.
people can have it. Yeah, I am really excited to kind of close out a big cycle for La Casa de Luz. And now I am officially only doing like soul retrieval, like just longer work. So I have my soul retrieval ceremony that you can find. I believe I have like one tarot option available for anyone who is looking for that. And that's all on my website. And I'm also just like secretly on the low, sharing my 30-day soul retrieval journey, which is a 4 session just a literal vision quest into what it is for those who are going through deep transitions right now. So if you're interested in learning more about the vision quest, you can email me at info@lacasadeluz108.com, or you can DM me on Instagram, just vision quest. And I would love to share with you a personal invite. Of course, the mentorship, the Mysterium, is still available as well, a 4-month journey to shadow work through shadow work integration. Um, Other than that, Shadow Dance Mystics is a free group I have where even this recording will be tagged in one of those classrooms. I do ancestors dance, I do a community call, that's all free. So if you aren't a part of that, please do join Shadow Dance Mystic. It's on School, www.school.com/SDM, school, SKOOL. And other than that, we are excited just to keep prophecy going on. So Prophecy Coven is on Patreon. Hope to see you guys there. Follow us on Instagram, at least to see when we post. All right,
Yes.
dears. If there are no questions, let me see. Yeah, I love the lion energy for sure. Leo, and but the water, we have to remember that water is really important, and pranayama, the air. Yeah, anything else, Raven?
No, that's it. Just, I mean, if you're kind of, I wanted to throw in there, if you're kind of having some issues with energy, carnelian's really good for that. If you do connect with crystal healing, once again, like, yeah, also reach out to anyone that can help heal or help you with your energy right now. Jupiter's a perfect time to have like a new guide or a new healer in your life, someone that you trust, who's gonna keep you on track. But again, carnelian's really good. Also opalite, I've been finding kind of brings like this joyful energy when combined with carnelian. So check that out.
I love that. Thank you for that
Hmm.
tip. All right, dears. Well, thank you so much for joining us live. Myra, Jake, Tina, that was here. And if you did watch this on YouTube, or if you watch it, we are so grateful to have you here. And there is the beautiful carnelian.
And then this
Thank
is my little opalite kitsune.
Oh yeah,
Little,
love it.
give us some good vibes. All right, y'all. We love you guys, and thank you so much for supporting us.
Thank you guys. Have a beautiful summer, and we'll see you in the fall,
In the
of
fall
course.
equinox. Woo!
Yay. Peace
Bye.
out.